Kids, I want to tell you a story about a dog. And I want to do that because you're talking about pets this week. So I thought, what's a dog story that these kids would really like? And I thought about you, and I thought about the dog, and I thought, there's a folk tale called The Great Smelly, Slobbery, Small-Toothed Dog. You like that? Okay, so here's the story. Once, there was a rich man, and he was set upon by thieves, and out from the bushes leapt a great, smelly, small-toothed, slobbery dog. Ruff! And the dog frightened away those robbers. Yes, he did. And the rich man said, "You have saved my life. Come to my house tomorrow. I will give you one of my treasures." You know, I have a fish that can speak 100 languages. Would you like that fish? No, said the dog. Well, I have a bird, a golden bird, that can sing 1,000 folk songs. Would you like that for your reward? No, said the dog. Well, I have a golden goose, and you know that goose every day it lays a single egg. One gold egg. You could have a gold egg every day for the rest of your life. Would you like that for your reward? No. I don't have any other treasures. I can't imagine what you would want. Well, said the dog, you have a beautiful daughter in your house. That is the treasure I would like. Oh, said the man. He had forgotten that his daughter was his greatest treasure. Very well, I gave you my word. Come to my house tomorrow. And then the rich man had to go home and had to tell his daughter everything that had happened. She was not upset. Father, he saved your life. You know, you gave him your word, and I will keep your word. I will go with the great, smelly, slobbery, small-toothed dog. And the very next day, the dog showed up. And the dog looked at the girl, wagged its tail, and said, "Jump on my back. Hold tightly to my fur. I'm going to take you to my house. You will like it there." And so they went. Over the fields and over the fields until they got to the first hedge, and the dog leapt the hedge, and over the fields and over the hedge until the dog got to the second hedge. He leapt over that hedge, over the fields and over the fields to the third hedge, and he leapt over that hedge, and over the fields he went to his very own house. Oh! It was a castle! Oh, she said. Inside the castle, inside his home, she found a bed with silk sheets. And she found a closet full of dresses, satin and silk dresses. They were just her size. She found a shelf full of books, all the kinds of books that she liked to read. And she found a piano, and she found a cello, and she found a violin that she could play, or that they could play together. Every evening, the dog would come to her room, they would dine together, and after dinner, he told her the funniest stories. She laughed and laughed. It was so much fun there. But at night, when she was all alone in her room, she'd look out the window. She'd think about her father. And she missed her father. She missed her father so much that she began to cry. I am being held prisoner here by a great, smelly, slobbery, small-toothed dog. One day, the dog found her weeping. What's the matter? Don't I give you everything? Yes, she said, you give me everything. But I miss my father. Oh, he said, climb onto my back. Hold on to my fur. And I will take you home for a visit. She got on the dog's back. And over the fields and over the fields they went until they got to the first hedge. Wait, he said. What is it you call me every day? She thought she knew what the dog wanted to hear. Because every day when it was sunny, they would sit outside under the trees in the shade, and she would stroke his fur. It smelled, but she would stroke his fur and she would say, "Dear dog, you are as sweet as a honeycomb." So when they got to that first hedge and he said, "Wait, what is it you always call me?" She knew what the dog wanted to hear. The dog wanted to hear, "Dear dog, you are as sweet as a honeycomb." Yes! He leapt over the hedge, and over the fields and over the fields he went until he got to the second hedge. "Wait," he said, "what is it you call me every day?" Well, by now, she was thinking about being home with her father. Then she looked at the dog and she said, "I call you a great, smelly, slobbery, small-toothed dog." Whoa! He whirled. He went back to the house. She did not get to see her father that day. The next week, the dog found her crying again. "What's wrong?" "I miss my father." "Climb onto my back. I will take you home for a visit." She climbed on his back. She vowed she would only say sweet things to the dog. And the dog started off over the fields and over the fields to the first hedge. "Wait, what is it you call me?" "I always call you sweet as a honeycomb." "Yes," he said. He leapt over the hedge, over the fields and over the fields until he got to the second hedge. "What is it you call me?" "I call you sweet as a honeycomb." Yes! He leapt over the hedge, and over the field and over the field until he got to the third hedge. "Wait," he said, "once again, what is it you call me?" But she could see her father's house in the distance, and she forgot to be kind. "I call you a great, smelly, slobbery, small-toothed..." "Whoa!" said the dog. He whirled back to the house he went. The very next week she was crying again. "I will take you home for a visit," he said. "Climb onto my back." And she knew she had to get it right this time. Over the fields and over the fields to the first hedge. "Wait, what is it you call me?" "I always call you sweet as a honeycomb." Yes. He left the hedge, over the fields and over the fields, to the second hedge. "Wait, what is that again that you call me?" "I call you sweet as a honeycomb." Yes. He left the hedge, and over the fields and over the fields he went until he got to the third hedge. And what is it you call me again? She was very careful to say, I call you sweet as a honeycomb, dear dog, sweet as a honeycomb. Yes, he said, and he jumped that hedge, and over the fields he went, and over the fields he went, until he got to the front door of her house. Wait, one last time, he said. What is it you call me? But she had her hand on the latch, on the doorknob. I call you a great, smelly, slobbery, woo, said the dog. And she looked at him, and she looked into his eyes. She saw such sorrow there. Oh, dog, dear dog, I call you sweet as a honeycomb, sweeter even than a honeycomb. And the dog could see such love in her eyes and such care. He ripped off his fur, his smelly fur, and he turned into a handsome prince. Of course you knew that. Yes, you knew that. And you know, so it was that the young woman, the girl, the young woman, and the handsome prince were married. And every day, back at the castle, she throws the golden ball for him, and he brings it back. She throws the ball again, and he brings it back. And then they sit under the shade of a tree. She strokes his fur, which is not smelly anymore. And she murmurs, Dear Prince, you are as sweet as a honeycomb, sweeter even than a honeycomb. And that's the end of the story. Now don't go away, because I want to ask you some questions. Do you recognize that story? Does it sound familiar to you? This story is not the Disney version. This story is from Great Britain. The Disney version they took from France. This is the English or version from Great Britain. And that's how they tell the story in England. There's a dog. And is the dog still a dog with the name of Prince? Or has the dog really turned into a prince? I, of course, like it because the dog is no longer smelly and slobbery. But you can make your own choice. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much. The end.